My sister fed her friends fake stories about our family being abusive to her. I have screenshots to prove it. Not great at explaining things, so bear with me, I guess. So, about 3 years ago, my 15 female, older sister, 17 female, Leia, fake name, personality basically did a 180 overnight. She went from being the sweet, reliable big sis to kinda snappy and closed off. Stopped doing chores, would get an attitude if anyone reminded her, spent all day in her room. You get the point. I was 12 at the time, so I was just like, why is she acting like that? And my brother, 21 male, was moved out and busy with school and whatnot. In the beginning, my parents choked it up to teenage girl hormones, which was also technically part of the issue, but also one night she just came out of her room crying and told us she is bisexual. My parents were extremely supportive of this, so was my brother because he's gay. I wasn't educated on this kind of stuff at the time, so I didn't get it until my parents explained it to me and why it was such a big deal to her, and I was like, cool, good for you, sis. So anyways, her behavior got better after that, and she was being nice to us again. She didn't hang out with me as much, which is like what teenage girls want to be around their little sister, lol. So, fast forward 3 years later, me and my sister are really close again, or at least I thought we were. One thing I've noticed, the same with my parents, is that her friends started acting very weird towards us. Like they wouldn't talk to us when they came over, if they did, or would occasionally make backhanded remarks or roll their eyes when we spoke. It was weird, but again, this was only when they came over, which was rarely, so me and my parents kind of just brushed them off like, whatever, they don't have to like us. I just found out why they act like this. Probably like an hour ago, I don't know. I was peacefully binge-watching an anime when my phone started buzzing like crazy. When I checked, I was added into a group chat on Instagram by her friends. In this group chat, they were basically bashing me for being a horrible person. They were calling me homophobic, a spoiled brat, terrible sister, golden child, homewrecker. Kept telling me I needed to apologize to my sister for abusing her, so obviously, I'm confused. When I expressed my confusion to them, they told me to stop acting dumb and innocent. Later, they realized I was being serious and genuinely did not know what they were talking about. That's when they sent me a bunch of screenshots between them and my sister. To sum things up, my sister has fed her friends a very wild story about her life and how we treat her. Our parents are extremely homophobic and are kicking her out at 18 because of her sexuality. When she came out, I quickly became the favorite child. I'm spoiled and get everything I want, and because of this, I treat her badly for fun. I hit her, steal and break her things, verbally abuse her, and call her homophobic slurs. Not only do my parents allow it, they encourage it. She's forced to do all of the chores and cooking in the house, including cleaning my room. This girl does not know how to cook. Lied about other stuff like having autism and me making fun of her for it, which is crazy because I'm the one with autism. There's so much more. The screenshots go back like 2 years, so she's been telling them this crap for close to 3 effing years. I asked them why it's taken them so long to confront me. They said she begged them not to confront or talk to us about it because apparently it will make things worse for her, and her plan was just to go no contact with us once she's 18. But they couldn't hold back this time because the most recent thing she told them was that apparently I found out about the guy she likes/is talking to and immediately found his social media and started texting him. Now he won't talk to her. So, not the abusing, but this was the straw that broke the camel's back for them. Laugh my butt off. I debunked as much as I could, sent them pics from pride festivals we went to with her, sent them pics of us, we take a lot together, sent them pics of my brother with his boyfriend. They were peed, but I asked them not to do anything until I figured out how to deal with it because apparently my sister is the abused black sheep of the family. They agreed. The convo about me stealing the boys she likes happened a few hours ago. I checked on my sister and she was peacefully sleeping, so she doesn't know about the GC. As for me, I'm having many emotions about this. Shock, hurt, and anger. It feels like a huge slap in the face. I don't know how to go about this. I don't even know why she's doing it. For attention? I don't know. Reddit, what should I do? Update 1. First off, I want to thank everyone for advice. You all helped me get my thoughts in order, so I really appreciate that. So now for the update. I talked to my parents and it went kinda how I expected, kinda not. Also, I know this is kinda late, I do apologize for that. I stayed up most of the night, A, because I was reading your comments and whatnot, and B, couldn't sleep that much, lol. Got about 2 hours in. But I went with the obvious advice y'all gave me and took screenshots of everything, including the messages from the last night group chat. My dad gets home earlier than my mom, and my sister has a part-time job, so I spoke to my dad first. Obviously, he was furious, shocked, hurt. It was hard watching it happen since I love my dad. He also apologized a lot as I'm the one who had to find this out and sit him down. Anyway, mom got home and my dad wanted to talk to her alone, so I went in my room. This is the unexpected part. I heard my parents arguing a lot, and I'll skip the details, but I later found out that mom knew about Leia's lies. She found out about 5 months ago and didn't tell my dad. I don't know the details, but apparently she made my sister promise not to do it anymore and just trusted that she wouldn't. Laugh my butt off. Safe to say, my dad was peed. Leia got home and things got worse. More screaming from Leia. It was hard not to hear because I was literally in the house, but my dad said that Leia was punching and scratching her legs, threatening to kill herself, also screaming that she was going to kill me. So I was kind of scared to leave my room. Literally never heard my sister scream like that before. My dad was already mad that my mom went behind his back and kept him out of something that involves his child. My mom defended herself, saying that she was just protecting Leia and that she's just a kid. But my dad is smart enough to realize that Leia is clearly not mentally well and said she needed to be put in a mental home. A lot of you said the same. From what I heard about what my dad told me, my mom begged him not to, but Dad was already peed about what she did, so he threatened to leave her if she didn't comply. There was more arguing, but eventually they did drive her to the hospital, and obviously I haven't seen her. Me and my dad are now at my grandparents' dad's side, and he is not currently speaking to my mom, but he did tell her that if she tries to take Leia out of there, she is ending their marriage. I also spoke to my brother, and obviously he was hurt, but concerned for our sis, so there's that. My dad and I have talked a lot. Good talks. He apologized to me for everything going on, but it's not his fault, so there's nothing to forgive. If anything, I feel more bad about the situation, but me and my dad are good. I'm not exactly sure where my parents' relationship stands right now, but Dad told me not to worry about adult stuff and to just focus on being a kid and going to school, so that's what I'm going to try and do. But that's basically everything for now. I will update if anything else happens. Update 2. Hey guys, it's been a minute, but I have another update if y'all are still interested. Also, thanks again for the sweet comments, it means more than you know. I'll start with some positive stuff first. I got to see my brother and his boyfriend. They took me and my dad to the movies and out to dinner. It was really fun, took my mind off things. New Year's was really fun, I spent it with my dad's side of the family. I haven't shared too much details with friends because this is a family matter, but from what they know, they've been super supportive and sweet. Now, on to other stuff. Leia was supposed to get out on the 1st, but that didn't end up happening. She did get out on the 5th and is at home with our mom. Again, I repeat, I don't know how all that stuff works. I had a conversation with my dad about not feeling comfortable going home and being around my sister and mom just yet, and he was very understanding, but he did have to go back for obvious reasons, and my grandparents were more than pleased to keep me there, lol. About my sister, from what I know, her first day out, she didn't talk to anyone and basically just slept the rest of the day. Second day was a little rough. She wasn't happy about not getting her phone back or having some privileges taken from her. My mom tried to fight with my dad about it, but basically gave up as she's still in hot water with him. When Mom found out I wasn't coming home right away and wasn't really open to talking to Leia about the situation yet, she got pretty upset and sent me a message. She basically said that I can't be mad at Leia because she's not well and needs all the support she can get right now, and apparently she's in distraught that I don't want to talk to her and I'm making things worse. Okay, literally never cared less. Leia does have depression/anxiety. I don't know any more than that other than she is being medicated. I'm pretty sure my dad did talk to my sister's therapist to update her on the situation. My dad did go through my sister's phone and it wasn't cute. He found a group chat where my sister and her friends would basically harass this girl from their school. Reason? No clue. Not just for that situation, but for the whole situation in general. My dad did have to find the numbers of Leia's friends' parents and let them know of what's been going on. I have no clue what's happening with them, but it's none of my business. Leia did admit that the lying was for attention and false sympathy, and she never meant for it to go this far. I'm not sure if I believe that entirely. I don't think I need it, but my dad also wants to put me in therapy, so I'm just going with it, lol. Big issue right now, my mom continues to coddle and enable my sister. My sister knows this too, so she hasn't been going to my dad about anything because she knows that he is going to actually parent her. My mom will try to stand her ground with Leia, but then the waterworks start and blah blah blah. It's annoying and it makes my dad upset. It's the fact my sister knows she can get my mom to do what she wants. It's manipulative and gross. I have gone back to school and Leia is coming back soon. I'm worried for when that happens. A lot of you said she might try and spin some story with teachers or counselors, but also as of right now, my sister is essentially friendless, and I'm not going to talk to her at school either. I mean, it is the consequences of her own actions, but I can't help but pity her. I just don't want her loser ex-friends to come up and be a-holes to her. At the end of the day, I think that inevitably there will be a meeting with Leia, my parents, ex-friends, and their parents, and the girl that Leia and her friends harassed. I already said this in a comment, but I'm going to say it here too. Regardless of what y'all think, I do not plan on forgiving or speaking to my sister anytime soon, lol. She does not get a pass because her mental health is crap. She still actively chose to do something disgusting and continued to do that for 3 years. She did not just make up lies about how I treated her. Her and her loser squad would actively make fun of and bash my character any chance they got. Looks, hobbies, interests was all bashed. I would never let someone speak about my sister the way she let them speak about me. I love her and genuinely hope she gets better, but I don't have to like her. My mom can think I'm a brat and my sister can cry about it as much as she wants. I don't care. It's going to take a long time for me to trust her again. It honestly terrifies me to the core how insanely two-faced a person can be. It literally baffles me. Main issue right now, mom and dad. My dad wants to fight for their marriage. He really did. Looked into marriage counseling and I see immediately. But after more talking and arguing about my sister, my mom lying and continuing with her BS, my dad ended up finding something very disgusting that my mom has been hiding from him that has left him heartbroken. I'd rather not get into it, but I'm sure you all have some ideas. I'm still letting all of this process. So no, my dad does not plan on continuing with my mother. Things are a little tough right now. My dad can't exactly leave our house, mainly because my sister refuses to leave my mom, and understandably, my dad doesn't want to leave Leia alone with her, so he's staying just until some legal stuff is sorted out, and I don't plan on going back anytime soon. That's basically it for now. I don't know if I'll update again, we'll just have to wait and see. I love my dad so much, he's my best friend, so I'm just gonna try my best to cheer him up and be a good kid during these times. Update 3. Honestly, didn't think I would be making another update, but the account has just been sitting here and I felt bad for leaving everyone on a cliffhanger, lol. Also, I realized that my last post was actually update 3, not 2. Sorry if that confused anyone. Spoilers, it got worse. So I'll start with my parents. They aren't speaking. Well, they are through attorneys, but my mom can't be civil for 2 seconds in the same room as my father. I did write this in a comment, but yes, my mother was having an affair. There were some theories that my sister found out about the affair, which triggered her breakdown, or she just found out so mom and her were covering for each other. My mom's affair started just short of a year ago, and Leia had no clue. It's unknown if this was my mother's only affair. Now, on to Leia. She got much worse. My mom basically went against everything my dad and her agreed on and gave her phone back, plus other privileges. My dad wasn't even surprised anymore and just turned her service off. He pays for all our phones. He's also planning on taking mom and sis off the family plan. She did go back to school, which turned out the way I expected. She's doing school from home now, and I'll get into that. In my last post, I believe I mentioned that my dad went through my sister's phone and found a very disturbing group chat where Leia and the losers would bully this girl. I don't think I can actually classify what they were doing to this girl as bullying, though. I talked about it in private messages with someone, but it's not something I want to repeat on here. Please just know that it was very, very disturbing and gross. Enough so that the school needed to get involved, which did happen. I'll just call the girl Claire. I won't get into the details of what happened during this school meeting, but ex-friends and my sister got expelled. Yes, expelled. Leia's one and only excuse for the bullying was she was a B to me. My parents were just going to enroll Leia in an alternative school, but her ex-friend group was also going to that school. They were angry with my sister, threatening to jump her and stuff. My mom feared for her safety, ironic, so she's doing it from home instead. I actually spoke to Claire privately, mostly to apologize on behalf of my sister and let her know we had no clue. She was honestly one of the sweetest people I've ever spoken with. I feel terrible. She did not deserve what my sister was putting her through, and it honestly makes me ashamed that I'm related to her. Claire is doing okay, though. She has a good support system and is in therapy. Leia has completely stopped going to therapy and taking her meds and basically switched from her victim mentality to just straight up being disgusting to everyone in her life that cares about her, with the exception of being nice to my mom when she wants something. Leia and I did eventually end up speaking through texting. When she got her phone back, she sent me a long paragraph on Instagram, which I won't post on here, but to sum it up, it was basically just her saying that everything that's going on with our family right now is my fault, and all of this could have been avoided if I just talked to her first about the screenshots. Not inherently untrue, but also I don't really care. Originally, I believe my dad was going to try and get primary custody of Leia because he didn't trust my mother for obvious reasons. And I don't know the details of the discussions he's had with his lawyer about it, but Leia's going to be 18 soon, plus with everything else going on, I don't think he's going to do that anymore. My dad and I did have a long conversation about Leia and what the future looks like for her. To sum that up, he will always love and care for her as his daughter, but as a person, he doesn't particularly like her at the moment. If Leia came to him and showed genuine signs of remorse plus wanting to get better, he would do so in a heartbeat. But as for right now, you can't help someone who doesn't want help. Forcing it won't make things better. As for my mother and I, we aren't speaking either. Our last conversation was mostly her screaming at me for berating over the phone, mostly over me being a brat and not wanting to come home, lol. I don't know what the future looks like right now. All I know is I'm going to stick with my dad. Both my dad and I have been going to therapy, which has been keeping things lighter and less stressful, so that's good. But that's basically the update. I'm sorry to all those who are really rooting and praying for my sister to get better. This is not easy for anyone in my family right now, but I do apologize. Once again, thanks for all the support and sweet comments. It means a lot. I did end up showing my dad the posts, which he thankfully wasn't upset about. He appreciates all the support Reddit has shown our family. I may update again if anything major happens, but if I don't, I don't. Thanks again. Ooh, I'm not gonna lie, that was a roller coaster ride. A lot of things to consider here. A, I am on this person's side for not wanting to have contact with the mom and the sister. Anyone, yes, obviously, the sister has some mental issues with the depression and anxiety, stuff like that. And there's certainly understanding to be had there, but yeah, when you do stuff that hurts someone else, you are still responsible to that, and they get to decide how to process that and when to forgive and talk to you. And when you're like the sister and not making any efforts to really truly apologize for it, then yeah, I don't think that it's the OP's. I don't think that they are required to go and be like, I forgive you, sister, everything's fine. Also, yeah, the sister needs to be she needs to be the one to make the decision to get better. They're just not going to force this on her, especially at that age. She's near about an adult. She has to make decisions. I will say, the mom is effing up in all the worst ways. I'm not even going to get into the whole affair thing. Not good, but even just separate from the whole situation, enabling someone who is doing this stuff in the way that the mother is putting some of the responsibility for this behavior on her. Some of it, yeah, brain chemicals, depression, it is a tough thing that shouldn't be blamed on a parent. But the enabling is, I'm certain, a big part of just how bad it's gotten. And that goes on the mom. And if every person involved in this story needs therapy. I'm so happy that the OP and their dad have both been going to therapy. That's great. And yeah, the sister definitely should be going to therapy, but so should the mom, to learn about her part in this and to, just oh, there's so much going on here, and it's so frustrating. And I feel so bad for this person having to deal with his sister who doesn't seem to want to get better. And especially at this age, at 18, where she is about to be going out in the world on her own, the mentality she has and what she is doing is going to have a detrimental effect on her life if she doesn't turn it around. And I honestly don't really think that she will turn it around until her actions lead her to hit rock bottom. And that's gonna suck for everyone. And I just hope, especially for the OP and their dad, that they don't get too drug into this and that things eventually turn out for the best. My jealous sister-in-law asked me to let her adopt my last child because she's infertile at our family dinner. Background: me, 36 female, sister-in-law, 40 female. I've been married to her brother for over 10 years, and there's always been some jealousy and resentment from her. She's always felt like I had the life she wanted, not necessarily with her brother, but the marriage, family, job stability, etc. I have 3 kids, 10 female, 8 male, 3 months female. She got married last year and they decided to start trying for a baby, but she was unfortunately told that she can't have children naturally. She was understandably devastated, and the family comforted her as best we could. We recently had a family dinner, and in the middle of it, she says, "Angel 698, I think it's really unfair that you got to have 3 kids and I can't have any. Your baby is my last chance to raise a child, so I think you should give her to me during the week so I can create a motherly bond with her and you can have her on weekends." Before I could respond, the entire table erupted with everyone talking at once, so I took my older kids upstairs. When I got back to the dining room, her husband was asking what the hell is wrong with her and why would she even think to ask that. She was trying to justify herself when I asked them to leave. I also said that she's no longer welcomed at my house or around my children until she gets help. She started screaming that I don't deserve my life or my children and that I stole her baby from her. Her husband and mother-in-law kept apologizing and dragged her out of the house, still crying and screaming. Now my kids want to know why their aunt wants to take the baby. Edit: I've been reading the comments, but it's too many to reply to, so here are a few points. 1. We have a security system and cameras already installed and no one has keys to our house. 2. I will not be able to get a restraining order as this one incident isn't enough to justify it. 3. My husband and I spoke to the older kids about it the same night and will be having another talk with them to reinforce that sister-in-law is not a safe person anymore. 4. Our country does not have the right to bear arms, and I also have no interest in getting a gun. 5. I'll be informing the school and daycare of the issue and giving them her photo. For those questioning the validity of the post, I completely understand. If I had heard about this last week, I wouldn't believe it either. But it's unfortunately the situation I'm currently dealing with. What? Okay. Let's talk about this for a second. There is a world where there is some version of this conversation, sort of, to be had. A, it is not during a dinner party. You do not have discussions like this during a dinner party with everyone around. 2, you don't ask someone or tell someone that you get to raise their child, but they can see him on the weekend. No. Like, the version of this that maybe could have been productive, maybe could have been something, is this sister-in-law going, "Hey, so I'm unable to have my own children. You have had 3, and I know that that must have been so taxing for you and everything. Would you consider being a surrogate and carrying a child for me? Like, is there some version, something we could do there? I would love some help." That is still a big ask. You're asking someone to carry a kid for you for 9 months. It's tough on the body and everything. But that is, I think, the only reasonable version of this conversation. And what actually happened was the bizarro, ridiculous version that I get this person saying like, "Hey, I know a lot of people question the validity of it and everything." I don't, because I have seen some people like this in real life, and it's just, folks, if you're going to ask someone something that seems like a big ask, But you think, no, this is how it should be. They'll understand. Run it by someone first, maybe a couple people. Like, why she didn't even run it by her husband, like, hey, do you think it's okay if I tell my sister-in-law that I want her baby? And the husband can go, no! Something like that. Come on, folks.